All right, Vicksburg Gator football coming up. We're in Jackson at Hughes Field on this Thursday night. A few days ago, the game was changed to tonight, this Thursday night. And so you have to make adjustments on the fly here. Down the stretch we come as the Gators get set to take on the Callaway Chargers in what's now a must-win game for the Gators. Away, home, and in Ridgeland. That's another Thursday night game. So two of the last three games of this season will be on Thursday nights. Charles Edmond, TJ Mayfield, and let's talk some football with head coach Chris Lacey. Coach, you I don't know. You asked how I'm doing. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm okay. I know some folks in the community might not be because it's a huge game, but you said your players are okay, and I really like the sportsmanship aspect of it last week after the game and just the pictures in the paper, Gator players, Viking players, shaking hands, taking pictures. And you put it best that these kids grew up with one another. I mean, we talk about it from a rivalry perspective, but, these kids grew up together. They understand each other. It was a good football game.
Oh, yeah.
We kind of hung in there, and it was just a tough loss.
Yeah, I mean, the kids played hard. They were well prepared. We practiced they practiced like champions last week. And in the realm of competition, you got to have a winner, you got to have a loser. And we came out on the losing side of it, but I saw a lot of bright spots from our team. When the score was 14-0, they never was down. They just fought. They fought their butts off, and that's how you can act something.
The one big play that stood out for me was on the fourth down, the touchdown, the 36-yard touchdown catch on fourth down. You didn't expect them to go for the end zone right there, maybe to pick up the first down. If that happens and you just maybe hold them to a field goal or maybe keep them off the board altogether, they took their shot in the end zone. But then on the other side of it, Mincer Minor with a 60-yard pick six, and Mincer Minor was all over the place. We didn't call his name, though, in the last several weeks. Do you think teams were kind of staying away from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's our returning starter on that defense in the secondary. And, I mean, Mintz has come a long way since he was a sophomore. He started off as a quarterback and an offensive receiver at first, and you made the transition over to defense. Just him being the type of athlete he is, he actually was the one who gave up the long ball, but him just being a true defensive back and having amnesia and letting it go and just bouncing back and making one of the biggest plays of the game. He also scooped up a fumble, that allowed us to kind of have an opportunity to get into scoring range late. So I'm proud of Mintz and how he played and how he didn't let any of that affect him.
Well, for the game, he had 4 tackles, a fumble recovery, an interception return for a touchdown. It was an exciting interception. It was a great catch, first of all. Yeah. And then once he turned up the field, it was a convoy in front of him. He cut it back to the right. I mean, that's as pretty as it gets.
I mean, he's a baseball player. He's a basketball player. He's a good student, and he's a good football player. So that's just an honor to have him on the team and be able to coach him, knowing that I'm a former defensive back. So seeing him come back and do that, that's also praise to his parents and everybody that has raised him.
But on the offensive side, Coach, there's 59 yards of total offense. And obviously with the Corey Knight and Blackmore, just trying to find a way to push the ball down the field.
Oh, man. Again, Warren Central probably got one of the better defensive lines in the state of Mississippi, and those boys played hard football. So it was just our job to find other ways to get in the end zone. Running the football ain't the only way to score touchdowns in a football game, and our guys proved that. We got an interception, we threw a touchdown. So, I think it was Jamichael's second touchdown of the year. So, he played well, and I'm just proud of the way that the guys found a way to, still be in that football game. So, shout out to my players.
What do we do here these last 3 games to get more offense?
Well, I think we took a step in the right direction Friday. Even though we didn't run the ball as well as we wanted to, we did other things, right. We tried to run some trick plays. We put the ball in a lot of other receivers touched the football that really hadn't had an opportunity to touch the ball this year. So I was just proud of the way that we all came together and certain people stepped up to help us do what we need to do. So the guys just got to keep going. It ended up building confidence with us. One thing I saw after the game that nobody's head was down. They felt like, everybody contributed in a positive way, so they helped us out.
When you talked to Coach Morgan during the weekend, he knew it was going to be a tough game. He was just saying it comes down to a play here or play there. 3 of the last 4 meetings have come down to the last 2 minutes of the game.
Well, one, like again, I always say this, and it sounds funny, but he taught me football, so he knows that I know how to coach, because I learned a lot from them. So in that aspect of it, I'm gonna be prepared. My team gonna be prepared. My coach is gonna prepare the team also to be ready to go. And it's a rivalry game. I said records are out the door. When you get that game, you just play a little harder, and everybody showed that Friday.
There was a lot of excitement. At halftime, I left the press box and I just didn't realize, and you don't get a chance to see from the home side of things. I just didn't realize how many people were in the stands on this home side.
And look, I feel like some people came, on both ends. Some people look at our record. I don't know if people were trying to pull up to see a blowout or anything like that, but our kids have been competing all year, and they are fun to watch when they're doing exactly what it is that they're supposed to do. So, and it was must-see TV. It's a rivalry game. Ain't no other way to explain it. No matter what a record is, you're going to show up for the rivalry game. And shout out to the community for showing up and supporting the kids in the proper way. Nobody, from my view, said anything malicious or anything to the kids. So it was good to just have a positive vibe in the stadium.
This is a big game in this town. It'll be talked about for the next 357 days. So exactly. I think that will be the case. Right. What was the speech to your team after the game? You meet with your team on the field. What was the speech to your team?
When I told them at the beginning of the week that in going into that game, we were gonna have to play that game almost perfect. And I was as pleased with the way that they fought and the effort that they played with, and they can't say that they weren't prepared. But I also told them if we're gonna win these next 3 or any other game in the future or anything like that, we have to play mistake-free football in order to have it. We had our shots, we had our opportunities to get on the scoreboard and win the game on certain downs, and we just didn't execute that way. So that was my speech to him.
And the thing is, Warren Central had 15 or 16 penalties, which helped. What about the snap count offensively to kind of get that aggressive Warren Central defense to get in the neutral zone?
Well, watching the film, you see that they were going outsides a lot of times, in other games throughout the year. So the strategy was just to, be very random and also very selective in trying to get them to jump off sides and give them certain shifts and motions, and then trying to snap the ball to use that aggression against them since they were so good up front.
They had a pretty good end on that right side that was just number 8. That was just absolutely he was just blowing things up.
Those kids, like I say, my hat's off to them. They played those are very technically sound football players that they have on that defensive line, and they get all my praise in the world. So we did the best we could to strategize against them, because when people we all human. So for every strength you have, you also have some weaknesses in there too. And one of them was them, just jumping off sides a lot. So we tried to use it.
What was there conversation between yourself and Coach Morgan after the game?
He just told me that he was proud of me. Keep working, keep doing what I'm doing. He sees growth in the team, and just good luck for the rest of the season. And same thing to them, good luck going forward and what they do. And if I need anything from them, just give them a call.
Yeah, that's what that's what it's all about as well. At the end of the day, it made me think. With the Warren Central Vicksburg rivalry being so big, and then it's a division game,
right.
It's a district game,
right?
That just adds whatever you want to add
more
to
fuel
right. More fuel or whatever. You wish it wasn't that way,
right,
though,
right.
Because a rivalry game like this probably shouldn't be a district game, but it's just kind of happened that way.
You deal with it in conferences like the SWAC or the SEC, where you had your Grambling Southern rivalries, Jack State Alcorn, Bama, Auburn. So, it's all in good football, I say. So it just keeps it entertaining, and it makes everybody play harder and keep buying tickets.
Yeah, it does. And next year will be a Viking stadium, and it'll be a packed house, I'm sure. Let's look at Callaway, Coach. Right now you're at a point in which you got to win some football games. You only got 3 games left, so this is where the rubber meets the road. Callaway 1-1 in district. You look at what they did. They scored 50 against Columbus lost to Ridgeland, and you're going to be looking at, and this could be a quick ball game considering we like to run the football, and then Marvin Moore, 1,000 yards rushing and 15 touchdowns. They're going to put the ball in his belly, so it's going to be a challenge there.
Well, watching film on him, he's a nice put together running back. He plays some quarterback also, and he's just physical. I mean, last year he gassed us for one. I think if I can remember correctly, he hit us for one in the third quarter last year on a big run. So I've been watching a lot of film on him, and he protects the ball well. He don't put it on the ground. He looks and seems like he's their leader, and they kind of ride behind him. They got a nice size offensive line, defensive line. And they're going to be Callaway. They're going to have talent. You know, they're going to always fit their scheme to fit whatever it is that they have on that team. And Coach Brown does a great job of doing that. And me talking to him earlier this week, we used to these type of games. Even when I was just being a defense coordinator, he used to always talk about how prepared we were. So it's going to be fun to go up there and play them in a football game.
How does Moore, in terms of body type, just physicality, compare to some of the other backs and players we've seen so far this year?
Well, I don't think we've seen a back his size this year. You know, me just trying to think back on all the teams we played. Maybe Terry had a bigger back like that. But outside of that, we haven't seen a back this compact. He got that Marshawn Lynch type body style to him, and he's quick. He can run you over. He can also catch the football and he can throw a little bit. So it's going to be a challenge when you get quarterbacks and running backs like that, athletes like that, to kind of, you don't know what they're going to hit you with because they can do so much of everything.
I was thinking, when you talked about that, I was thinking about the physicality of the game last week. I'm sure you like from your defense to continue that physicality and try to wear teams down a bit.
Again, if I don't do nothing ever in my coaching career, we going to play defense wherever I'm at, you know, and we got kids who, they young right now, but they getting the hang of this defense thing. And it's just good to see them continue to blossom and grow and not bag away from nobody and just play that physical brand. So we're going to try to take the same thing with Callaway. You know, we hang our hat on playing defense and running to football and tackling people, and we plan on doing that tonight.
Has there been a speech this week of, well, we got to run the table to put ourselves in position, or is this just win the week?
Yeah, just go 1-0 through the week. Go 1-0 on every play. You know, try to win your play and do that the duration of the whole football game. And that's just trying to get those kids to be process-oriented. I think in this society nowadays, especially 2024, where a lot of kids want instant gratification, or it's the microwave, you know, and I sent a picture to them all the other day of a stove. And, you know, I told them, I said, look, my grandmother never cooked out of a microwave, you know. You know, when she made macaroni, she made it on the stove. It tastes different when you make it in a microwave as opposed to
takes longer
doing this thing on the stove. And that's the kind of mindset we need to have, like be patient and just go through all the steps you have to go through in order for this particular play to be successful.
Well, this is a Thursday night game. Got a call on Monday saying, well, you know, this game's on Thursday. This game's today. So talk about the process, how it evolved to where we were going from a Friday game here at Hughes Field to playing here on this Thursday.
I actually look at it like it's a blessing because it didn't allow the kids to be able to kind of elongate the process of getting over Warren Central. You know, when they came in Monday, it was, we got to speed up this process to get ready for Thursday. So that kind of helped us out a little bit and kind of just letting that game go and focusing on this one. And practice has went well this week, so I know they've done a good job of letting it go and just focusing on this one.
Well, you were saying that there's a number of games at these different facilities here in Jackson, so they're trying to juggle these games and try to get them all in, whether it's Friday or Thursday, and this just happened to be the Thursday night game as compared to Friday.
Right, and I mean, you know, they have so many. Jackson is so big, and they got so many schools in that metro area. I think they operate on 2 or 3 fields, so they have to, you know, shuffle the games and change the game. So we've done it before. We've had Thursday games. I think we got one against Ridgeland. So we used to doing, you know, playing JPS school. So we used to adjusting the Thursday games. And we did it during COVID, where we had to share a field with Warren Central. So we played some games on Thursdays, and they played on Thursdays sometimes. So it's nothing new to us. It's just being prepared in the preparation.
Well, how big would it be to get our first win of the year, first win in district, and just kind of go from there?
It feel good. It feel like when you grandma used to give you a peppermint and you go back and drink some of that water in church. That's what it'll feel like. So
Cool.
yeah, it's cool. So it's gonna feel that way to be able to get one. And we plan on going up here and getting one, and we prepared that way. And the expectation gonna always be the same, to go 1-0 through the week. So I'm excited to see us get out here and get it in with Callaway.
The good thing about this Thursday night game is that on Friday we get a chance to kind of relax a little bit and see what else is going on in high school football.
And it give you an opportunity to go watch somebody else play. Might go over to across town and go watch Born Central, and the show would do it. So, or go catch another game. So I think it'll just be a relief for our guys to go and get it out of the way and be able to kind of relax and get ready for next week.
Well, Coach, let's go get them.
Yes, sir.
Gators looking for their first win tonight here on the road at Hughes Field as they take on Callaway. We'll take this time out, kick off on this Thursday night coming up after this.